just wanted to touch base with y'all before we broke for the holiday. It's been a tremendous 2.5 weeks putting the staff together. You guys had a chance to visit with Neil yesterday, so obviously you spent some time with him. Great group of staff members, very happy with the way that all come together. They've done a tremendous job recruiting. As you can see with the announcement that we made today, the 2 junior college signees that we picked up today. So tremendous addition to the Wildcat family today. So just wanted to answer a few questions for you. Any questions we got? And I'll address the players if you want to.
Neil said yesterday it's been a real whirlwind. Of course, he's only been here a few days. How has it been for you? And two weeks or so into it.
I was counting up the days, so I figured I'd get asked that today. But it's been 18 days, I guess. Seems like a lot more than that. So, quick 2.5 weeks. It has been a tremendous whirlwind. But feel very good this week, being able to put your feet on the ground, settle in a little bit today. And this week, again, the staff came together very nicely. So yeah, it's been a hectic 2.5 weeks. The first 2 weeks were a complete blur. This week we'll settle down a little bit.
Talk about what you were looking for in your staff. You've got a lot of young guys. I think the average age of the guys you've got, including yourself, is like 39 years old. What were you looking for when you went to put a staff together?
Well, that was a big, that was part of it. Was definitely some youth. I felt like the mold that I wanted was some guys that really that had a little chip on their shoulder, that wanted to prove something. And so, that fit very nicely with the coordinators and the rest of the staff. And so, to start with the coordinators, to get 2 great young up-and-coming coordinators that have done it, that have been in big-time situations and in college games. Starting with Neil, I really like the style that Neil ran at Texas Tech. I know the problems that he presented for defenses, and my brothers had to defend them. So, and I'm just very familiar with Neil and that whole system. Going back to Mike Leach and our connection with Mike Leach, and of course all the way back to Hal Mummy with that whole family of coaches. So, I worked with Sonny Dykes at Arizona. Coach Bill Beedenbow worked with me at Arizona. So that whole group, was something that I was very interested in. And, with Neil and his connections to Kentucky, it was a great fit for us. And then with Coach Elliott, it was a tremendous hire for me. Really had to I was excited with the opportunity to bring Coach Elliott. Obviously, I'm very familiar with him. He's very familiar with me. Had to fend off some people. He was really, both of those guys, and a lot of our coaches were getting an awful lot of attention. So it was important for me to be able to hire him here. And that, he's fired up and ready to go. He's done a tremendous job, full of energy and organization, work ethic, the whole deal. But again, I'm just very excited that I was able to hire both of those guys.
Mark,
yeah.
Yesterday Neil gave us an overview of his offense, since trying to install here. And on your initial press conference, you used the word creativity a couple times. What is your, could you share what your definition of creativity is?
Yeah, I think just, being able to dress things up, here and there, and being creative in how you run the ball, being creative how you distribute the ball. You've got to be, obviously very, very well balanced, but you've got to be creative to move the ball. I know from being a defensive coordinator for all those years, just somebody that just wants to line up and run the same plays and not be creative in how they motion, shift. That's what I mean by being creative and dressing it up and finding some ways to move the ball.
With your 2 signees that you are announcing today, talk about how the roster may have dictated the kind of priorities and the need to go after those guys. Yeah,
with Stephen Borden, we were very excited to get Stephen and to add Stephen to our program. It was a need for us. We felt like we needed to go out and address the tight end situation and bring somebody in. So as we started looking at junior college tight end, obviously Stephen jumped right up at the front of the list because Neil, Coach Brown, and those guys were recruiting to Texas Tech. So they were already familiar with him. So Once Neil brought him to the table, we were able to watch film on him. I loved him, and felt like there was a need, and felt like he was a very, very versatile player. So very excited to bring Steve into the program. And with Darius, again, there was a great need, but there was a relationship there. That's this is a unique situation to be able to land a player like Darius in a short amount of time. With 2 weeks of recruiting him, he was out of official visits. So Coach and I went and flew there to see his mother and him at Greenville when he was back on break. Again, he didn't have a visit. He would have loved to come on a visit, but he had already used up his 5. And so, so it was a very unique situation to go down and be able to land Darius. The people that we beat, Darius had an opportunity to play at a lot of good schools. And so that was a tremendous gift for us. Obviously, the relationship that Darius had with Coach Jimmy Bumbaugh and with Coach Elliott and with myself, I think, helped, because Coach Elliott and I were recruiting to Florida State, and Coach Jimmy coached them. So the relationships was a big thing with that. So very rare, but could not be more excited, because it was a great need for us. Here's a player that has tremendous physical gifts. He's 6'5", maybe 6'6", 250, and tremendous player. Like I said, every down guy. He'd be great against the run, great pass rusher, and just an impact type of guy. So for him to come in and address the situation at defensive end, it was very critical.
How much of a tone setter could it be? You're trying to build some early momentum. You got in relatively late to the recruiting process here at Kentucky. To get a guy that could have gone to Florida State or Texas, when you're going to other recruits, top recruits, and saying it's okay to pick Kentucky.
Absolutely. I think it's great. And that was part of what we were selling was hey, set the tone and set the precedence for the new Kentucky football. And so it was tremendous that he believed in us, and that's what I told him. Thank you to him and his mother for the tremendous confidence and faith that they have in us in this program to get this done, to sign the letter of intent without even stepping foot on our campus. Says a lot about what he believes, and believes in the people that are here at Kentucky and the staff that we put together.
Mark, what are the challenges of when you come in December 1st or beginning of December, you've got 2 months, give or take, to put together a class, to figure out what you've already got here, break down those guys, what maybe positions you need more than others, because you said you felt like tight end was a place you needed help. How do you compress all that? How challenging is that in such a short time?
That was challenging. The coaches that were here, the graduate assistants that were here, broke down some film and got anything. It could have been practice, could have been scrimmages, could have been games, and they made cut-ups of each particular person in each position. So then we just went through it as a staff and addressed that, and got a little feel for what we have and what we need. And the coaching staff, past and present, the new guys and the old guys, got together and you really hammered that out.
What are your evaluations of the current roster?
Well, like I said in my initial presser was, I believe we need to get bigger and stronger, and I think we're going to address that situation, try to get a little bit better physical presence. Guys need to, we need to get in the weight room. We've got to develop the guys we have, and we need to go out and recruit some more size. We need, and we need speed. So, you hear that all the time, size and speed, but it's true. So we need to get some more skilled positions and get bigger up front. So you know that, and every school will tell you the same thing. There's not a coach in America that wouldn't say that they wouldn't want, good big guys and decent, fast, and talented, skilled. So we need it all, just like everybody. But there's an opportunity here. I believe some great players are out there and know there's an opportunity.
Mark, you worked for several different head coaches, and you watched them do the rubber chicken circuit and be the ambassador to that particular program. That's your turn, something you've never done. Talk a little bit about taking on that part of this job.
Yeah, that is, it's new, and it's something that I am comfortable with, being around my brothers and coaching for my brother Mike, and so seeing him start that program and go out and do the things you're talking about, and greet people, and shake hands and talk, I think helped prepare me for this situation. And of course watching Bob for all these years, I really keep a close eye on the way he does things, because I just admire the way he handles himself. And so obviously watched him for a long time, and being a part of it with Mike, I think it gives me a lot of experience that maybe other first-year head coaches don't have. And then, of course, being in the situation in Florida State, being in such a high-profile school, and the great importance that you have there. So, I think it prepares me, but I understand it's still, you got some work to do in that area. And that's understandable. Doing the best I can. Yeah.
There been any big surprises as a head coach the first couple of weeks? Anything you couldn't?
I don't know if there's big surprises, but it definitely has been, overwhelming at times. And I don't think there's any way around that for anybody, whether you've been a head coach or not. Maybe it helps. I'm sure it probably is if you've been a head coach. But I know Bob even told me that before I took it, and Mike. They said, the first couple of days, your head will be spinning, and you sit there and ask yourself, what in the world have you done to yourself? Because your life certainly has changed, and it has. It's, my wife has gotten a little bit mad at me from time to time because for the last 2.5 weeks I haven't even had much time to even talk on the phone and check in on the boys. So that's been difficult on the family, and we understand that goes with the territory. So my wife does a good job keeping me grounded at times.
You talked about DJ as defensive coordinator. Obviously, your background is defense. How will you handle that as a head coach? Will he run the whole show? Will the two of you work on that together? What will be the duties there?
Well, I've learned real quick in these 2.5 weeks, as I was just touching on, that I can tell that my roles changed drastically. And I think it would be impossible for me to run the defense the way it needs to be run with me being a head coach. So Coach Elliott will run that. I have 100% confidence in him, and he knows what I want and the way we do things together. So it will be him running the defense. Of course, when the time permits itself, that I will be in there, watching more films probably with them than the offense. But I would like to split it up, and I need to do that at practice as well. I don't want to just work with the defense all the time. I want to be supportive. I want to be around the offense. I want to have fun with the whole team and show the commitment to both sides. But Coach Elliott will do that. I will, of course, be there to help him because he has not been a coordinator, and so I will be there to help, put things together and game plan certain problems that we may be having, and just the experience back there will help him in that area. But I have tremendous confidence.